All right. I think we're live, folks. And yes, we are. Live at last. Wow, it's been a week, man. Started right on time. We are time maxing, getting our timing down. No, but seriously, we're about to Jew max so hard on this show. Genetics maxing. That's what I'm calling it. And I got High Res the Rapper. We're just fucking around. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing serious here. This is just clowning and entertainment, folks. Let's just understand where we stand before we stand. So, God, wow, what a week, man. I had that crazy episode with Dom. I left it pinned on my feed. And then I had two conversations. One got cut off right in the middle, Bree Dale. And she had like this, they want to like, that was incredible. Incredible conversation, but only half of it got recorded, unfortunately. The other half is shrouded in the mysteries of the Jesuits. I'm just clowning on you. But, is the way that I like it, you know? So, but then I had another conversation, and I've just been like low key, folks. I've just been really low key until now. And I'm glad to put up another episode. I've been like so busy with like real life. You know what I'm saying? And I have opinions about everything that happened in the news cycle. I don't even know what's to talk about. You know, there's been so many things, including the assassination attempt of President Trump again. And we'll get into that if it's meant to get into that. If not, we're going to get into wherever we're being guided on this podcast. You know, because it's rare that I get a Jew on the show, guys. I mean, let's be honest. And not only a Jew, like a Torah observant religious Jew. And I'm like, wow, the places we will go. It could go anywhere, folks. So I'm letting Hashem decide, you know, where we take this one. I don't want to get too politically savvy or anything like that out the get-go. But our guest is queuing up in sound room right now. So we'll get started on this Kingdom of Judah live episode. I'm really excited to talk to this guest. High Res the Rapper. I was like, you know, I know him from X because I'm only on X. I'm brand new to YouTube, folks. Brand new to YouTube thanks to Candace Owens. Thank you, Candy. You are my Candy crush. And you got me back on YouTube. So kudos. But I'm back new on YouTube. I only know him from the Exosphere. You know what I'm saying, guys? Like, it's a different place. It's not like YouTube. It's not like Facebook. It's not like TikTok. It's not like Instagram. It's like such its own thing. And it's vehement and violent. And it's like the pits of Capua. You know, and Spartacus is there, like trying to like crawl his way out of the pits. You know, that's what X is like. It's just like, holy shit, what goes down on X. I mean, no other social media has that much heat on it. At any given time, like global heat, they're always walking shit back from like, you know, their international fiascos and everything like that. Maybe we'll talk about Junior opening up an OnlyFans account. That actually happened. Go check out my page if you want to see that news. The best news anywhere on Jewish X. So just scroll down. Awesome Jew. But let's bring in our guest, folks. Let's see what's up with our friend here, Dan Bilzerian. What's up, man? Oh, see the sound. We're doing a live
Okay, how about
sound
now?
check.
How about now?
There we go.
There we go. It's better already?
There's a little bit of an echo on my end, but I could hear you.
Dude, it's so weird. Whenever I plug my headphones in, so obviously it's an annoying feed sometimes, but for whatever reason it messes with the mic. But I have a backup. If this is terrible, I could switch to something else.
No, this is even better. This is even better.
Okay, cool.
There is
What's
a
up,
little
brother?
echo, I hear. Do you hear that? I'm gonna try to lower
Yeah, it's
my.
probably because I could. It's as soon as I plug my headphones in. That's the, if you tell me, I'll go to the other situation if that's the case.
What's the other situation?
I just got to plug my laptop in and run it through my actual mic. It's gonna sound a lot better. It's just
All
gonna
right,
take me
first say amen to my bracha. Bracha ta Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol neheh b'dvaro.
a minute. So I just have to plug this in and run it through this. It's just gonna take me a few minutes. Up to you.
Whatever you
If it's
think is the best sound, man. I could talk by myself for hours.
okay, so give me a few minutes. I'll run it through that, and then
Yallah,
we'll be.
habibi. Take your
All
time.
right, I'll be right back.
All right, guys. So our guest has arrived, and he's gonna get this all sorted and boarded. And that gives us more time to talk about all the cool stuff going on in the media cycle and whatnot, and how I feel about things, which is like so important, actually. And I want to be real with you, my public audience, about so many things I see in the sphere, in the realm. And God, there's so many of them. Even Lucas Gage is having his situationship with the Jews changed these days. I mean, it's like an all-out defeat. Like, it's really Hashmonayim, guys. It's Hashmonayim. I mean, why? Because it's like a few Jews beat like a massive infrastructure online. Hands down. Look at them on the run, dude. They're all like running off to Rome this week. They're all SPLC'd out. Dude, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. So it's like such an embarrassment. I honestly made a few tweets about SPLC, and because I don't go on every day, like that's really like the main thing. And you want to know something? I actually think that if there was an opportunity for me to go on every day, I'd go on every day. And I'd give you my thoughts and I'd recite the news cycle because I watch the news cycle. I mean, I'm just like so keen on every one which way. You know, UFO disclosure comes right after Trump's visit with the King of England. It was just such a, you know, orchestrated thing. The Revolutionary War outfits, you know, it's a cool thing, guys. Like the whole thing is like very symbolic storytelling, kind of like orchestrated on like a global scale so that we all see the theatrics of it. The question is how much of it is organic, how much of it is some backdoor conspiracy, how much of it is like something um you know, how what is real, what is not real, you know. X has been like this place of like complete not real content. Like just absolutely not real content. And like I've been a member of X since Elon Musk bought it back. Or bought it. Took it from Jack Dorsey. The old X, I had an account from when I ran for Congress, but like it did not. It was very unkind to me. And that was the only account that I had actually. The rest of the accounts, you know, I never had like a personal account. I never even really used Twitter back then. And it was just like so discriminatory. So, like, I pretty much left the mainstream. Facebook deplatformed me, the Instagram deplatformed me, YouTube deplatformed me. All these places deplatformed my content. Whatever, fuck them, right? Doesn't matter. Look what happened as a result. I mean, like, I actually became famous. Like, I might have never became famous if, like, they allowed me to have a YouTube channel and just talk shit on the internet. Might have not ever been able to become famous. But I do think it's strange, like, who pays the influencers? Because it's like YouTube. YouTube is paying for so much anti-Semitism in the Jew hatred and racism, even. Not even, just racism. Like, I'll give you guys a classic example. Let's see. My software is pretty legit, but I was having like this hard time with my AirDrop for some reason. If I could find this photo that I took, here it is. Like, if I could, like, I'm telling you guys, like, I'll show you somebody who like gets astroturfed. Nah, the airdrop failed. I'll show you somebody who gets astroturfed all the time on my timeline if it goes through. Nah, it failed again. Hold on. Let's try this airdrop one more time. Let's undo the Photos app on my phone. Let's open it up. If I could just get this photo, guys, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about because I guarantee that all you get this guy astroturfed on their timeline. Like he's got like billions of views. Nah, it's not going through. Let me try to mail it to myself because my emails have been working, and like you guys will see if once I get it, you know, you guys will see very clearly. You'd be like, oh, I know that guy. I hate him. There's so many of these people that like I just like totally despise on the internet, but somehow my feed is like completely dominated by them. Like there's no way around their content. Like it's like the Kick superstars, you know what I'm saying? And then like every now and then like Kick like deplatforms like one of their like people because they're like literally like wrecking havoc and menace on society. Like Kick is the most like debaucherous, like it's such a horrible force for society. And they dominate X. Like the relationship between Kick and X is very strange. I think it's very, very strange, guys. And like there's just people that I see that are just not they're really not fun to watch, and they're everywhere. They're just everywhere. You can't escape them. So I'm searching for this picture because I want to call this guy out because it's like he's like so toxic. And okay, yes, dude, I'm telling you, technology is so bunk. Like the amount of security it takes me to get into my YouTube is like absolutely crazy compared to the amount that they don't let me succeed on their platform. Like they like it is like 2FA authentication just to download a picture, and I got it, folks. And our guest is back, so I'm going to hop on as soon as I throw up this picture so you all see it. This guy right here is like, I swear to God, like, what the fuck? Okay. Got, what is going on here with my internet? So he is just like the most toxic person on the internet, and he just got kicked off of Kick, Chud the Builder. Look at this guy. He looks like a fucking like soccer mom at the beach or some shit like that. And he goes around and all his content is going around calling black people the N-word. Like straight up, that's the only thing he's done. And Kick has allowed this guy to get like billions upon billions of views. And he does that. He like carries a gun around and shit and like goes up to black people, calls them the N-word, you know, and just like has his gun and like mace in his hand ready, and he's just like, and this is like what Kick is making their money off of, like absolutely poisoning the timeline of X with. And so everybody that this guy says that he's like, you're about to be famous tomorrow, Enter, you know, and it's like, and look at him, he looks like a freaking soccer mom with his ponytail and his hat. Like I swear he birthed 2 kids, this motherfucker right here. And it's like, it's so crazy. Like he'd chimp out if you told him that. I'm doing him a favor. But anyways, X is like a totally fabricated environment. And like it's just like so fake. And X is like responsible. They've been paying these people like tons of money, getting like stupid people like that rich as fuck. Like while they like denigrate society. Anyways, our guest is here. I think he's got a better mic. Let's test this out.
It sounds a little better.
Okay, there we
Does
go.
it sound better?
Oh yeah, dude.
It's like ASMR.
Yes. Shh, shh, shh. Oh, I love it. Yo, I'm so happy to have a Jewish guest. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm just like Jew power, bro.
I
Yeah.
see you could. I see genetics maxing.
Yeah, dude. I had to like call it out, you know. And I'm just joking. I'm clowning with these fools, you know.
No, I
But like,
get it, dude.
I see them like try to genetics max all over us Jews all the time. Like, the Juden rats and all this stuff. And I really never have Jews on my show. Like, very rarely do I get a Jew on the show, let alone a Torah observant Jew. So I'm just like super excited to have you, man.
Yeah, no, thank you, bro. I don't remember where I first saw you. Obviously, it was X. That's where most people probably found you. I don't know, obviously, your story before that, but I don't know if somebody just shared something of yours, probably, in WhatsApp, right? All of us Chabadniks and Jews, we have our secret WhatsApp stuff, obviously, to take
You
over the
keep
world.
cutting out. Yeah, I think the Elders of Zion is stopping you from talking about the WhatsApp groups right now.
Can you hear me or no?
Cause I can hear you, and then like every 5 seconds, like it goes blank for like a second. There's like a
Oh,
five
shit.
second rest. But I think that was the Elders of Zion, just making sure none of these silly little goyim find out about the
Can you hear me
WhatsApp
now if I'm
groups.
talking or no?
There you go. I'll tell you if it cuts you out again.
Okay, because then I have a third plan. Because no,
Oh my God. Like when we go out to conquer the world, we do not stop, guys. I'm telling you.
yeah, and tell me if I'm cutting out now. Am I cutting
No,
out or
you
no?
sound good.
Okay, so yeah, so obviously, as you know, us Chabadniks and Jews, we have the secret WhatsApp chats that go on, obviously, to take over the world. And I think just like some rabbi or somebody I know probably sent me one of your pieces, content
Mm.
pieces,
God
and
bless
then
Chabad.
this was at the top of, like, obviously we all have our peaks and our valleys of our social media careers and stuff, but this is like a year or two ago when just you were doing
Crazy.
was
Yeah.
there, and I came across it, man. So I'm happy to be here.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's been like a long, crazy journey and the most wild ride I ever thought. Organic, just like totally out of this world. And some of them, like when Candace Owens accuses me of killing Charlie Kirk, I don't know if she'll do it again. She's done it 4 times. I just think it's so crazy. Like
I think it's amazing,
absolutely
dude.
bonkers.
It's amazing how much power. Like I watched this
Oh, they
rabbi.
got you again. They got you again.
I'm cutting out again. Am I
Yeah,
back?
they got you again, man. These freaking Elders of Zion. Just let him give the secrets, okay? Elders of Zion is such a beta group. I like to talk about a much higher, more secretive secret society. I think like most people heard of the Elders of Zion, but like my brother right here, he probably, I would say he definitely knows about this other secret society. I
Yeah,
would
no.
say, can I tell you it, bro? You know
Yeah,
about
go.
it. I talk about it all the time on the show. It's the
Can you hear me?
Lamed Vav. The Lamed Vav.
Giving away the secret.
That's who's really in charge, bro. The Lamed Vav. Yeah, it keeps cutting out. It keeps cutting out like every 6 seconds
Oh
or
my
something.
gosh, dude.
It's like a hiccup, bro. It's like a technology hiccup.
I'm going back to the OG one.
It sounds great. The quality of the sound is superb. You just have like a
I
skip
think because
every
my daughter dropped this microphone the other day.
Here, sing a song. Maybe it'll skip, maybe it won't skip.
Is this good?
Yeah, that's good. Okay, we'll try it.
I have
We'll
three
try it.
different input mics. Some of them
No,
work.
you
Some
got
of
to
them.
skip again. You just skipped again.
You know what? I'm gonna just put the mic down and I'm gonna turn the input up. Tell me if this is good. You hear me the whole time? Or am I skipping?
No, you're not. You're good.
Okay, you let me know. All right.
Try not to move around because now I can hear the chair and stuff. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
I'm not.
Just
Am I
be
too
like
loud or good?
frozen in time, like, yes.
Okay, I won't move around too much.
Okay, good.
Am I too loud or good?
You're perfect, man.
Thanks, man. That's what my mom tells me all the time.
Yeah, Jew power. Jew power. Big shout out to all the Jewish moms out there holding it down. Did we grow up amazing or what? Thank you,
Yeah, dude. I
moms.
think it's a little bit of like narcissism. It gets like put into us, and still, this is probably why people hate Jews in general, because of Jewish moms. They like instill this belief in you at a young age that you really can do anything, you
Yeah,
know. And I think a lot of other moms don't really do that.
yeah.
It's like you could be the president of the United States. No, you don't need to be the president. You could just control the president of the United States.
That's really funny. That's really funny. Hold on, really quick. Yeah. No, I'll tell him. Okay. All right. Bye. The chairman doesn't want you to say that out loud anymore.
Okay, got it. Yeah, no,
I'm
it's
just
just it's
kidding.
a You're right. Got to keep that low key.
I'm just clowning these folks, man. I have been like such a dark webby guy for the longest time. I know all of them. It's like a cesspool. That do you know that guy Chud the Builder? Does he pop up on your feed too?
I saw what you know. So I have no idea who that is, but that was accurate. It definitely looked like someone you would see yelling at a referee at a soccer game for sure, like for making a bad call.
Maybe they just target me, the anti-Semites, and that's why they show me every single one of them. You
Dude, it
know?
was so like I don't know if you saw it because obviously everyone thinks like everything. Oh, you see everything. Everyone's their own, main character in the world. They think that everyone sees everything that they do. But like a week ago, I basically just clocked out of like like my news feed is not political anymore as of like a week ago because of basically what you mentioned. It's like X is its own world, bro. It's not the real
Yeah.
world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think even me, I was getting a little bit too wild. Of like, I was just, I don't know. I was losing a little bit of the faith that I'm a very positive, uplifting, inspiring, motivational type of dude. And I just was seeing a little bit too much darkness, and I felt like that was the real world. But I feel like it's not. You know?
I was going through like a midlife crisis almost when I all this went down, and so I was like thirsting for the darkness. So it was like the
I get it.
perfect. It was the perfect environment for me, and like I really discovered it to be like Elon's little cesspool of like his movement to promote white people in the world. And like I have no problem with white people, but like sometimes people on the platform get platformed to billions of views and monetized to so much money. And it's
Check
like
this out. I'm sorry to cut
those
you. What do you think about this?
institutions are paying for this kind of thing to happen in society, you know?
What do you think about how weird this is, right? This is another thing. This is why I knew we lived in totally different worlds. Is like my mom, just like most Jews, super secular, liberal, like progressive type of Jew, right? Which I think people don't realize there's nuance amongst Jews, obviously. But my mom and a lot of my family who's more liberal, secular, reform, they look at Elon or Trump as like right wing Nazis. And then like you and I who live on the internet and in the real world, we realize that like, nah, these guys are pretty moderate, middle of the aisle type of guys in comparison to some of these black pilled, cosplaying right wingers. So it's so weird to me that like someone who's liberal can like see Trump as the most extreme right wing Nazi, and then these people are like, no, he loves Jews, he's controlled by Jews. Like they're two different extremes and the same level of hatred and energy. It's very weird.
Yeah, like I remember when I was like excommunicated from the left world, and it was like way before like God, I was like the one of the I feel like honestly just in life in general like cancellation happened to me like way before it was even trendy in society. Like people and even in my own family were like, "Ugh, not him again." You know what I'm saying? Cuz my politics were like so raw. Like in 2014 I ran for Congress, cuz I was just like so fed up with everything already. And that was like before they injected everybody with the matrix. You know what I'm saying? And so basically like we're knee deep in the mud in this situation, and I also never really knew you until just recently. And then when I went to your YouTube, I was like, this guy's fucking huge, man. You have 2.6 million subs on YouTube. And I'm like, why don't I know who this guy is? If you're in Chabad, like I know like everyone in well, you don't know everyone because Chabad is a massive institution, but I'm like really well connected in Chabad. So I'm like, I never saw you, you never saw me. The space is much larger than we think. When it comes to Elon, though, I never really thought like everybody once he paired with Trump in the beginning, they were all like, Elon's a Nazi, Elon's a Nazi, and I was like, no, he's not. But then I was like, after that one burnt out so quick because like I don't think he's like goose stepping but he's definitely like not who he says he is, and like he definitely favors like for instance NBA players on the app. Like sports does pretty well, but like nothing does as well as racism. Like racism is like I would say 2000% more activity on X than sports. I mean it's like the racism app. You know what I'm saying? So like and that's coming from the top. You know what I mean? And so like what I don't know where he associates or what he associates, but he certainly, you know, allows for like racist and even violent ideologies to spread even internationally into the United States. You know, like accounts like Junior and other people who like really, you know, who like, you know, just got demonetized. And we had Dom LaCour on last, and like he got right after he got demonetized, like the day after he got demonetized, and it just blasted them. And I've really been looking at X at like very differently lately. So I understand why you'd want to tune out of X. You know, I understand why you'd want to like get out of
Yeah,
that environment.
yeah. Now my music is it's bigger than ever. I've been doing this since I'm 13 years old. I didn't go to college. You know, I
The
despite what people
Lubavitcher
think.
Rebbe I one time heard, he said like it's like throwing your kids into the Nile River.
Yeah, no, it's accurate. Yeah, dude. Like I concluded. So I had my first kid a couple years ago. I got my second
Mazel.
kid, God willing, in a month or two,
Mazel.
and it's like I felt like I was wasting a lot of time, and I wasn't really like moving the needle, as far as waking people up or changing people's minds, or like everyone kind of found their tribe, and everyone kind of made up their minds, not just on Jews but in general, right? Whether it was medically or whatever, culturally, spiritually, whatever it is, religiously. Everyone I feel like has their mind made up, and that might be like nihilistic of me to think that like, hey, I don't really have a hand in this anymore. But I realized it was like what's more conservative, right, than like worrying about my household and my community? Like, there's
Mm.
nothing. I don't understand why conservatives now all of a sudden are acting like liberals, where they're like, we need to care about the Ugandan children and underwater basket weaving. It's like that was a liberal thing, dog. Like, just worry about your community, worry about your household, worry about your family. But I realize people who are not married or God forbid, right, they're in a bad relationship, or just like they've been through the ringer in their own life. It's much easier to just scapegoat Jews and blame Jews for their problems than like, hey, it's my marriage, or like, hey, my kids don't love me.
This is one of the reasons why society has like kind of constructed a world where like nobody's married, like everyone is single, like people are being single into their 40s and stuff, and nobody wants to be single either, you know. And like everybody's like just like totally like wrecked from like traumas, and these traumas are like truly internet born traumas, you know, like dating apps. I'm divorced, and going out there after getting divorced is like, first of all, I got censored from Match Group because like there's a global arching leftist conspiracy to take over the United States with like mega corporations. And Match Group, multi-billion-dollar mega conglomerate, owns like 70 different platforms, including like Tinder and J Swipe and like Black Mingle and Muslim Meet and Hinge. And I can't even get on Muslim Meet, bro. Like they won't even let me. They
I
won't
think you would
let
do
me.
great on there,
I
bro.
have
You
like
would do
full
great.
blown ban from like the whole platform, including J Swipe, including the Jewish ones.
So we need just a proper shidduch. We need just the old fashioned way.
Well, what I'm saying is like even though like I don't go on apps because they're just like toxic, and I've been honeypotted by these stupid troll like losers in their parents' basement before more than once on a dating app. So it's like a security risk for me to be on a dating app. So like I don't unfortunately go on dating apps, but I've been thinking a lot about this because once you get into a relationship, you go to Instagram. And then Instagram is like the perfect life. It's doom scrolling the perfect life, and it's like picking up audio. Every conversation that you have with your partner, it's picking up audio and then feeding you some meme that just says like, girl, break up with his ass. He ain't buying you no Gucci Vuittons. You know, like I don't even freaking know, but you get what I'm saying. Like it's like an ecosystem that the algorithm has control over, like even such as human production. You know what I'm saying?
100%, 100%. And my homie was telling me the other day, he's not a Jewish guy. Believe it or not, we don't all just, we have some friends that are not Jewish. I think people just assume that, supreme race, we every day, yada yada, whatever, whatever. But he brought up a great point that goes along these lines, and it's like not only is everyone kind of in their own little tribes, whatever, but the internet is so weird in a sense now, right? Where everyone, especially in the West, in America, we kind of look at things through our lens, and we assume people are looking at things through the same lens. And I don't understand why they don't recognize that sure, Israel has power. Sure, Jews have power. Absolutely, of course. And but it's like this is a global thing. Twitter is not American. Twitter is not even Western, right? Like you can go off into a whole K-pop like echo. You know what I mean? Like Korean. Then you can go into a whole world where it's just Chinese, and you can go into a whole world where it's just Russian. And like people act like their problems are the world's problems. It's not. It's not the case. It's not the situation.
Yeah, and that's also like American privilege too. Not gonna lie. Like we do rule the world, and like these strange like people who like have very low vocabularies in the middle of nowhere do take like possession. Like I have to weigh in on every single issue on the globe, and God, like it is crazy the amount of
That was
power
my
that
issue, bro.
America
Like,
yields
and
to.
I'm curious what you think. So that was my biggest issue with what Jake Shields told me last week or 2 weeks ago on Twitter. I still call it Twitter. I basically said like, "Hey, man, is it like as a Jew, just as a person, as a human? It's like I don't necessarily. You can scroll. You could ask Grok, hey, what is High Res's opinion of Israel? And it's gonna literally give you like a pretty nuanced opinion. And he's like, unless you're anti, then you're pro. I'm like, oh, you mean what liberals said with vaccines? You mean what liberals said with BLM? You mean what liberals said with racism, with trans? Like, you're acting just like liberals, bro. Not everyone needs such a strong opinion and the same opinion as you. Otherwise, they have by default the other opinion. That it's absurd.
I do think that there's going to be like a public disclosure day where like all this SPLC money, like the people who received it gets out, they're going to get outed and stuff like that. And I'm telling you, some of my friends who I've done content with, I know, bro, I know. They're going to get
But
it.
nothing happens though.
They're
You
going to
know, it's
get it.
like
Maybe even David Duke. I did a debate with David Duke. Like maybe he's even got it. Maybe it was the
nothing happens
SPLC
though.
pushing
I
him.
had this exact conversation, same friend a few days ago. Like, okay, cool. What's gonna happen? Like, it's just like Big Pharma, right? Oh, there'll be some
Mhm.
settlements. Cool. It's like
Yeah. I always think that at some point I'm gonna get like subpoenaed by like Congress or Senate to like testify in a hearing about like some sort of like I honestly like back in the day there was like this guy on Twitter who was like, I mean, these people were platformed to the hundreds and hundreds of millions of views, and some of them the billions of views, and they're doing like incredibly violent content. And like there was this one guy HT who like would like literally pose with a gun, a real gun, with a black monkey doll, and like have kids on the, what is it called, the Omegle or whatever,
oh my, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and he'd be like, kill the Enners, kill the Enners. And X was platforming this content like to the nth degree. The guy who I just mentioned in the beginning, I'm glad he didn't get platformed onto your show, but do you see all the Kick content? Like, does Kick enter into your stream? Like,
Yeah, but like once again, bro, like now that it's all like the stuff I'm seeing is like I show speed races a lion. Like that's this like it's
uh-huh.
it's very wholesome. Like the things I see now, like bro, my
Did
life
you
in one.
change anything or did it change you?
No, so I literally I literally started muting words, and then like I would literally would say, don't show me this content, don't show me this content, don't show, and then all of a sudden like I'm seeing puppies and like food and like YouTubers race like animals.
I Show Speed is on that payroll though. He is on that exact same payroll. Mr. Beast is like one of the kings of that payroll. Mr. Beast is an interesting story because he crosses over into the mainstream. You know what I'm saying? But he kind of like he really has like an Aiden Ross. Aiden Ross is also like a major like contributing player, through the Kick network and like all those different networks. But I mean, like literally their content creators are like the most subhuman of all the different humans, and they're like pushing like just billions upon billions of views. I mean, this guy Clavicular is probably getting like 10 to 20 billion views. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
so that yeah, before I switched over to this new algorithm, he for sure was being pushed because I had no idea who he was. I never heard of him a month ago. And
Yeah.
now all of a sudden everyone's telling me and that's maybe because I'm older, right? I'm not an 18-year-old girl or an 18-year-old boy. I don't consume, these young kids that are looks maxing, whatever he says. So but yes, I absolutely like wherever that money's coming from, they are definitely they know exactly what they're doing, and they definitely came out and tried to compete with the Rumbles and the YouTubes and the Twitches and all that. Yeah, for sure. And they're doing it.
The crazy thing is like drug use on camera, fighting on camera in public, sex on camera in public. They all make it on on X. Like like Kick will post from their main account about one of their streamers getting a blowjob on camera, and then X will stream the clip that that Kick uploads, and it's just like I can't even believe that there's like no like adequate and this is what, or it'll be like fights, like nonstop
Look,
fights with like famous influencers in the
we had
streets.
wild stuff growing up, so it's like, we can't necessarily say it's new. It's just so much more it's easily accessible, right? So we had World Star, we had all these things that like fighting and money and drugs and stuff like that all existed, but you had to go to a website and you had to put, like, you know what I mean? It wasn't
We
it
just
wasn't
didn't
just
have an
trolling, like.
algorithm propagandizing it to the youth.
Right, right. No, no. You heard about it at school. You went home. You looked it up. It wasn't like, hey, boom. 1 second later, all of a sudden, you're, as you said, you're seeing the
Yeah.
most absurd stuff. So it's the
Like
same stuff that's always been going on. It's just more accessible.
this algorithm is intentionally steering the American youth to violence and like just like rampant sex and just it's so crazy, and drug
I,
use. It's like insane.
I think I told, maybe it was you on Twitter, or maybe I told somebody else this. Tell me your opinion, but I feel like, and this is a fact, right? So every generation is getting a lower and lower IQ by like something absurd, like 10 points every generation, or every decade. I don't remember. But the good news about that, I could be wrong, is I don't feel that people can mobilize the way that people could in past generations. So I think that it literally stops where it starts. I feel like people are so desensitized and so stupid and so dumb that, yeah, Hatzah Shalom, you see a lot of these terrible things happening in specific cases, but I don't think thousands of people are going to come together in the name of something. You understand?
Mm-hmm. Except for Shiloh, Biyata Mashiach. It's gonna be
Amen.
millions of people for Mashiach, man. I'm so
Amen.
excited. Are you excited for Mashiach or what, bro?
Dude, it's funny. So when I grew up, once again, going into my, I grew up Reformed. So to me, all the thing, like the concept of Mashiach, everything, right? Like mikvah, like all these things, I thought they were Christian. I thought it was a baptism, and I thought that there was only the Messiah was a Christian belief. Like I was taught such watered down Torah, bro. Women
Poor
rabbis and all the things
Christians,
that
they
you and
like
I,
only baptize themselves like once in their life, man. I feel so bad for them. You could take
you and
one
I, like,
every day, bro. You could go twice a day to the mikvah, 3 times a day.
you and I detest the way that I grew up, and once again, I don't think a lot of people recognize that there are Jews that detest a lot of the forms of Judaism. That I'm not going to say I'm
I
not the
don't
Jew.
detest any form of Judaism. I'm like a Jew maxer to the extreme, and I daven on every single Jew, man. I every single Jew. And like I even think about it a lot, like reform, like lately, because I live in the boonies. COVID chased me out of Pico Robertson. Back before I was even on the internet, they used to call me the Prince of Pico, and it was like dramatic, just as dramatic as it was leaving the old city walls of Jerusalem when I moved out. But like leaving Pico to come out here was all based in COVID and homelessness and riots and all sorts of crazy shit that they flooded the streets with, and I just couldn't tolerate it. Too sensitive spiritually. So I came out to the boonies, bro. And out here, I started going door to door on Shabbos, like looking for mezuzahs. You know what I mean? Knocking on doors. Who's the Jew? And like my best friend in the neighborhood, this guy is like liberal as, like, just, I mean, they love what Donald Trump is doing, man. I mean, these are as lived out people as they get. But they like love, like, where's the next vaccine? Rabies. It's like, vax anything. It's like, but I love them so much. And when you live far away from Jews, every Jew matters 10 times more. There's no like sinat chinam when you live out away from Jews. And so I've been learning a lot and just feeling a lot about like different forms of Judaism. And like, Rabbi Nachman says, Ein yeush ba'olam klal. There's no such thing as like to give up in the world. Like, but there is like spiritual exhaustion, and like Reformed Judaism kept Jews together even when they were just ready to I try to daven the chaf schud on everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like,
All right, let me give you my experience with Reform Judaism. So I am the only one of my friends that I grew up in a Jewish area, but it was reform every single, like we had a bar mitzvah every week, like it was a Jewish area, right? But it was Reform Judaism, every single person. And let me tell you, not one friend of mine married a Jew, Not one friend of mine made tshuva. Not one friend of mine, became observant. So I'm a statistic, bro. Like it wasn't because of my Reform Judaism that made me, more observant. If anything, that pushes people away because they're not being taught true Judaism at its core. They're not being taught Torah
Yeah,
at its
yeah.
core.
I think it was also a parenting error, though. Like a lot of parents, like the overbearing pressure of orthodoxy was too much, especially coming out of a generation like the Holocaust. And like 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 honest to God, like I've literally had relationships with grandchildren of Holocaust survivors because that's my generation. Is the and they're just like there's like such trauma, crazy trauma because Holocaust. It's in every Holocaust family, so like a lot of those people, they like could not touch it. You know what I'm saying? So what to do with them? How do they stay? And a lot of them stayed. So everybody's got their own choice. And you go to Mea Sharim, they're having like 12 kids in like you know 20 years or so. There's going to be like millions and millions and millions of like Orthodox people. Like we're coming up. We're breeding machines, guys. We are breeding machines. We're having litters, bro. We're having litters.
No, for sure. But that's why, like, I grew up and I was taught that Chabad was like because I didn't grow up in New York. I grew up
Me too. I
in
actually grew up Reformed too. I grew up like conservative, and then they kind of like moved Reform, and we were taught like stay away from Chabad. Stay away from
So that's what I mean. But now that I became more observant, and you meet these Haredi guys, Satmar guys, which I love, by the way. I love these guys too. But you realize that like Chabad is the middle, bro. Chabad is the people that they still like all my Chabadniks, bro. My homies, my Chabad friends, they love America, bro. Like they love the country. They love
Chabad is
you
a
know
very right wing organization.
they won't tell you that obviously
Chabad
because
is
it's funny. It's
based. Chabad is like as based as it gets. Chabad is
100%.
super
And
based.
it's funny, but when it comes to fundraising or anything, right? When it comes to just welcoming a Jew in, there's funny skits, you've seen them, but it's like, oh, Trump won. And the rabbi gets on the phone with a liberal and it's like, you're right. He's so bad for the country. And then he hangs up. And then you're right. Trump is amazing. They know exactly what they're doing, bro, but it's genuine, right? Like when I walked into a Chabad, bro, my wife, obviously, we weren't married. She didn't cover her hair. I walked in with a bathing suit and a tank top, and I still got aliyahs and all these things, bro. It's like I was welcomed with open arms, bro. So it's like now that I got a long beard and my wife covers her hair, and our kids were born, Baruch Hashem, through family purity and all these things. It's like they welcomed me when I didn't know any of that.
Honestly, the best investment Chabad ever made was that tunnel that goes under 770 directly to the White House. I mean, that was just like such a good investment. Yesher Koach Gutnick. I'm just kidding. But I love them, man. No, seriously. Did you ever hear the story about how the Gutnick family came to their wealth?
No, but I also
They
know.
came with a map to the Lubavitcher Rebbe because they were like famous miners. And the Lubavitcher Rebbe circled on this map in Australia like several places. And he went to all those places and he found gold in all those places. Like it was an unbelievable story. Like I'm close to I know some Gutnicks. They're like
Yeah,
really wonderful people.
no, me too,
But
me
they
too.
build you see their names on every Chabad building almost.
This summer I was once again I went back home to stay with my I was looking to buy a house, so I was staying at my parents' house for the summer with my kid, with my wife. Which, by the way, the Rebbe has a sichus on this. He literally says, "Don't move back in with your parents." By the way, he was absolutely right. That was like the worst summer of my life. That was miserable. And I love my parents for the record, but Rabbi Gutnick, I'm not going to say where, but there is a Rabbi Gutnick that saved my summer, bro. He kept me so sane.
Wow, God bless the Gutnicks, man. And God bless, like, honestly, we're Chabad maxing too. This is like a part of the Jew max situation we got going on. I'm not even a Lubavitcher, but I want to give a big shout out because I just realized this is the first time I've ever worn this hat on air. And this hat is so special in Lubavitch because there was a famous shaliach in California, in Los Angeles, Shalom Schwartzy. Everybody called him, Schwartzy, but he was like a big rabbi and he was like huge. And this was his hat, and he was, for LA Lubavitch communities, this was like his wife Olivia is still alive, and the kids are all like, super, involved in everything, but it's like a Coonan level family. You know what I mean? You hear Do you know about like LA Chabad fame? Like, are you like into Kunin and like, do you know the Kunins? Like, do you go to the
No, but hold on, hold on. So
do
I'm
you
gonna grab
do you
some.
go to the Kinnis?
I'm gonna grab a little special thing I want to show you, and this is coming from a guy who didn't grow up Chabad at all. No one in my family is observant, but you keep
I
talking.
hope it's $1.
I'm gonna grab. I'm a few things. I'm gonna grab a few things.
Oh, I think he's gonna grab $1, folks. This is cool because I really love Chabad, but I'm like totally not Chabad. But I'm Jew maxing. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, Shalom Schwartzy, man, what a neshama. He was my brother, man. He was a big rabbi, but he was also like a mentor, and he was like a rabbi to me, and like we would get together, and like he himself, he doesn't mind. Like he was a puffer, and we would puff
All
all
right.
the time together. I'm giving over the story of Schwartzy, just so the audience to immortalize this man. And I would always ask him advice. I mean, he was like such a wonderful guy, but a musician, like really in with like, like Shlomo Karlibach and all those. There was a lot of Lubavitchers that were still connected to Shlomo Karlibach. You know what I'm saying? Even when Shlomo Karlibach kind of got the boot. But
All right, check this out. So I grew up. I was obviously you already know now the way I grew up. So
yeah.
there was no one in my family that was observed. I mean, my grandma. Thank God she lived into her 90s. She kept Shabbos, she kept kosher, and
Oh,
she was the last one. So when she died, that was another. A lot of people have stories like this, right? It's like it kind of put a little bit of a burden on me because I know my brothers. I mean, look, maybe one day. But I was really the only one that's going to kind of carry this on. So I was like, I felt this big burden, this big responsibility to carry it on. But this is a different grandma that I'm about to show you. But they lived in Brooklyn. They lived in Flatbush, and they were just spiritual. Like if they could have met the Dalai Lama, they would have. If they could, like they just were very happy to meet a tzaddik, bro. They were happy to be excited and around and anybody, right? And living in Brooklyn, obviously, that's Brooklyn. So I grew up, and my uncle, I'm the youngest, right? And my uncle was already like super sick. He had one leg, he had one lung, he was in a wheelchair, he was blind, he was diabetic, like all this stuff was going
whoa.
on. And he was never walking by the time I was alive. But I realized on GEM, right, they keep all the archives of all the people who met the
Yeah.
Rebbe, and they have the videos and stuff like that. So this is wild to me. So first of all, this is shout out. This is my grandma with the
Hold on,
Rebbe right here.
let me screen max you really quick.
Yeah, so this is my grandma
That's your
meeting the
bubby?
Rebbe.
Was she bubby to you or grandma?
Honestly, we just called her grandma, but we didn't have too much of a relation because she was already a lot older. And
And she's like straight up Mashiach maxing with the Rebbe.
and check this out. This is my aunt with the Rebbe,
Oh,
and
Mashiach
but check this out.
maxing.
So this is my uncle, and he's walking, and I had never seen him walk until I literally saw the Gem archive videos,
That's
which blew my mind.
crazy.
So because of the time, there was
Wow.
there was no videos of like we're talking 67, like there was no videos of my uncle. You know what I mean? So it's like
Incredible.
so I went to the Gem website and they have the AI stuff where they can figure out quickly now. And
Yeah.
I literally saw my uncle walking for the first time because of what Gem documented. Obviously, yeah, I got the dollar.
Yo.
So check this out. You ready for this?
Tsuyanet metsuyanet lecha
All right, so listen
yoleinu.
to this story. So I knew the Rebbe was important, but I didn't like. I was in Chabad a lot, and I was walking around, and I saw this picture of this old guy. He was just the old guy to me because I didn't know anything about Chabad. And I remember seeing pictures in my grandma's house as a kid, and I was just like, I finally one day, like after a year, starting my teshuva journey, I'm a year in, and I finally hit up my aunt, and I say, can you send me a picture of the dollar that you have? And she says, yeah, okay, cool. She said, like, and then like a week or two later goes by, she finally sends me it, and I sent it's let me see, it says it right here, 429.90, right? So 429.90.
429 1990.
So April 29th, 1990, ready for this? So I finally, for whatever reason, I asked after knowing for a long time, and I finally asked my aunt, I say, can you send me this picture of the dollar? And she says, okay. She sends me the picture of the dollar. I send it to my rabbi, and he looks up on the calendar 429.90. It's the exact day on the Jewish calendar that I asked about it. Was the exact day that they met her. That she met the Rebbe was the exact day that I inquired about this dollar and that my aunt sent me it without even. It wasn't
On the
April
Hebrew
29th.
day.
It was the exact day in the Hebrew calendar.
Yo, you were Makarov by Reb Shneur Zalman of Liadi, bro.
It's it.
Through the Olamos, he's pulling you by the payas.
And this was right around the time I got engaged. So, bro, the Rebbe sent me a bracha, and to the exact day, the exact time that they were meeting, and here's an even more mind blowing situation. So I sell merchandise. I don't actually, I have some on the ground. Check it out. So I've been selling my merch forever, right? I've been selling, t-shirts and CDs and hats for 10 years, and so I always get samples, right? I get like blanks and stuff that I can feel. And this non-Jewish guy, he sent me a hat, and it was just like some California Union Workers Union hat, whatever, whatever. And I wear it to shul because I love, as a Jew, obviously I love free things. And so I wore this hat, and I go to shul, and people are like, start because I just come in, I don't know anything about Chabad, and people are like, "Why are you wearing the hat?" I'm like, "Are you angry?" I didn't know what was going on, and all it said on it, bro, was 770.
Whoa.
For no, like, it had nothing to do with it. Just was an area code or something. You know what I mean?
You found a hat like that?
This non-Jewish guy, sent it to me to feel the material of the hat.
Oh, that's wild.
The same week that all of this happened.
That's so wild, man. Bro. That's like Achia Shiloni level, man.
The same week that I asked for the dollar, on the same day that my grandma met the Rebbe, was the same week that this non-Jewish guy sent me a hat that says nothing but 770 on it.
That's crazy. For all you Gentiles out there, 770 is the address of Crown Heights where the Rebbe once ruled in that kingdom. Now, I'm not a Lubavitcher. I'm like being honest. Like I love what Lubavitch has done. Like the infrastructure that Lubavitch has built for Jews that are not even, and it's important that I am not a Lubavitcher because it's like the Hafta L'Recha Kamocha, like if everybody was the Lubavitcher, no Lubavitcher would get that mitzvah. They are like literally providing facility for Jewish life in the world. I think there's no greater thing than like all the like the big Lubavitch chitas that like have like deals with Trader Joe's so that like Empire Glot kosher meat can be at every single Trader Joe's in the world. It's like it's unbelievable you could get kosher meat anywhere. And we have a Trader Joe's out here in my boondock town, and I'm like, sometimes I drive into the city to go to the kosher butcher and get like that, like really like legit cut. And I'm always like, dude, like the Teva freaking, briskets that they have at Trader Joe's are better. You know what
I'm
I'm saying? Big shout
I'm
out to Trader Joe's. Thank you for joining the world Zionism.
I'm super bougie, bro, and me and my wife are very into the holistic, healthy sort of movement. So, as
Me
much as
too.
I appreciate that exists for everybody else, I'm sick. I was sick of eating frozen Winn Dixie chicken and things like that. But I appreciate.
Well, actually, the meat that they have at Trader Joe's is healthier than a lot of the meat that they have at like the regular shechita because like the cleanliness standards are like really like it's not like you're like getting something served to you like in like one of those styrofoam little tins over the counter like at the kosher butcher like we have here. It's like a real powerful it's a real powerful. It's all antibiotic and hormone free, free range meats only,
No,
and it's a
it saved
Lubavitch
me.
shchita too. It's a Lubavitch shchita, and it's like
No, it saved me when I lived in Orlando, and there's only like a couple restaurants, and it absolutely saved me when I first started keeping kosher. But now, Baruch Hashem, I'm in South Florida. You know what I mean, where Jews have been taking over for a long time. Thank God. So.
yeah, God bless South Jewish Florida, but like they don't even have kosher mayonnaise at Trader Joe's, bro. But they got glad kosher meat. It's like
No, I feel you. No, no, it's massively important for sure.
yeah. When you live out here, I get most of my food directly from the farm. Actually, I live in Farmville, and like when I fled from COVID, I was like really fleeing to the better world. So I started like my homestead life, and like I totally have like adapted to like that farm style community, grow your own food, all that stuff. It's kind of like it's a much more fulfilling and enriching life. Keeps you younger longer. You notice like a lot less. Whenever I go into the cities, I'm just like, holy shit, it's like so overwhelmingly toxic.
For sure.
Even the people are so toxic and vain sometimes. Not everybody, but there is like this impregnation of like these toxic values like in the cities. It's all
Are you
metropolitan.
to circle back, like, and I understand the aspect of not throwing even a reform Jew under the bus, because I don't really do it, but I think it's important for people to still hear the fact that, like, are you not bothered when you see a liberal Holly, like I'm talking a celebrity, Ben Stiller, whoever it is, when you just see them just being so annoying, dog? Like, you don't feel personally like annoyed as a, like come on, dog, come on, bro,
I don't get
you don't get
offended.
bothered.
I'll tell you. I'll give you my answer. I don't get ever like people always like squawk at shit that I do. Then like I don't like give a fuck what other people think about me. And I realize in the same sentence that like I really shouldn't care about other people. I really shouldn't think about other people in general. And if I do think about other people, it should be l'chapzchut. It should be for the good. You know what I'm saying? Even like anybody, Gentiles, everything. And it's just a practice, like a spiritual way of life that like I kind of see. And like when I see Reform Judaism, look, in this like little community that I created from mezuzahs, sometimes I'll go up to a door and knock at the door, and it's like somebody who like converted Reform Judaism, they're like totally Reformed Jewish, whatever, but they're like so happy to express anything Jewish. They're so happy to incorporate their relationship with God through a Jewish lens. And it's almost like I don't even care what they do in their private life. Like everybody's held to their own judgments and stuff like that. And I daven on everybody that they get it right and they do like a good thing in the world. But like, I don't know, it's just a different way of life that I started being out here to like really daven chafshud on every single Jew. You know what I mean? Like,
It's a practice.
it is a practice and it's not easy, and that's why it's great spiritual work. It's like fasting, you're hungry, it's like shmirat habrit, you're horny. It's like shmirat halashon, you want to gossip. You know what I'm saying? These are like hard things to like fight off. They're temptations, and like the higher spiritual person has an ability to kind of like daven chafschut on people. So I just see it as the lens of like these are people who truly want to express themselves, even in the most minor possible way, to God in any sort of spiritual context. And like they're just doing it. And and some of them do it so like you said, cringe and basic, and they marry shiksas and all this stuff. But like, they still give their kid a bar mitzvah. My friend told me something so depressing the other day at Pesach. He's like older and single, could never get married. And he's like telling me how he wants to have a child with a Gentile woman and give the child the option to convert to Judaism, because in his mind it's better to have a child than to not have a child at all, because he can't get these Jewish women to commit. And I'm just like, wow, that was powerful. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. So it's like, uh, you know, even when people are like marrying Gentiles, that's the hardest time to daven chafschut on them. You know what I'm saying? But that's how I feel about it. That's my
No,
honest
no. Let me
answer.
let me give you a specific reason. So I know a girl. Perfect example that you just did, and it happened in recent times. So growing up the way I grew up, everyone also for some reason celebrated Christmas even if you had two Jewish parents. Like, this is like how far left I was. Not me, but where I was. It was like they were so far detached from Judaism just because it wasn't exciting to them, because they weren't taught a version that was exciting. Um, and a few years back, Christmas lined up on like the first night of Hanukkah. Like, it was like
I
normally it's
love
like
it
you
when
could,
that happens.
but check this out. Normally it's separated. So like logically, you could like make an argument for like, oh, I'm still doing Hanukkah. Like, you could always make that argument, right? Okay,
Mm.
so I'm going to the Christmas party. Okay, no big deal. I've been invited to. That's fine. I go. I have no problem with it. But when it lined up this a few years back, I saw so many of my friends not doing anything for Hanukkah and going full blown. You feel what I'm saying? So the
They were
reason I
straight
bring
up Christmas maxing on Hanukkah?
Christmas
What the
maxing on Hanukkah.
fuck?
Yes, that's my point. So check this out. So in what world will a Christian, and I'm fine, and this is what I respect about Christians or Muslims, right? So it's like, in what world will they ever put down Christmas for Hanukkah? Never. It would never happen.
Well,
I,
I think that Christmas and Hanukkah are really interesting because they're both holidays that happen at the darkest time of the year. On the Jewish calendar, it's the 25th of Kislev. On the Christian calendar, it's the 25th of December, and they're both the ninth month on the calendar, right? And so, and then the main ritual of this holiday, these two holidays, is like we like take the menorah, which is the center of light, and put more light on it, and then they take their Christmas tree or whatever, their house or whatever, and then decorate it with lights, and they're like putting light on it, and it's almost like bringing light into the darkness. It's like the darkest time of the year when the sun and the earth are the farthest away, in orbit, and there's like 14 hours dark and 10 hours day. And I noticed this similarity, and I'm like, halavai, it's like, how could I understand cultures do things differently. Like the Persians always do Nowruz in the spring. You know what I'm saying? And Jews do, Pesach, and everybody's got a different thing. But I do find it fascinating on like just a humanistic level that the ritual circles around bringing light into the darkness and different ways on doing it, So everybody knows Christmas isn't Jesus's real birthday. Like everybody's kind of, even like Christian scholars of like, he was born then and on Easter, or like what? I don't know.
No, no,
That's
no.
just how
Sure.
I feel.
There's a lot of Christians that'll, ones that are really deep into it. They'll tell you the same thing. Like they'll quote scripture and they'll be like, oh, he was born in autumn. He wasn't even born in winter. Whatever it is, he was born in fall. I don't remember exactly what it is,
Yeah,
but you're absolutely right. It doesn't. I'm gonna get you to. I got one more. I'm gonna get you to slip in some way, bro. You can't possibly like the ADL.
bro. I stood outside of the ADL once with a big sign that says the ADL hates Jews. Changed my mind, and I'll be honest with you. Since I've done that, I've been feeling so stupid that I did that. I'm not even. I'm just being real and humble and honest. Like, not that I think that they're like effective. I do think that they're like a part of like the gigantic overarching infrastructure of like it's not a Jewish power. It's like a just like a they've subscribed to the groupthink of a political ideology and became the Jewish arm of that ideology, and they just like use combating anti-Semitism as a way to control the Jewish arm. And the ADL does like a lot of harm in Jewish society. For instance, I have a security organization in LA called Magivim. There's a bunch of security organizations. There's an amazing one called Magenam. There's another amazing one that I helped found called Shmira. And then I have this other nonprofit called Magivim. And I'm like really close with Jim McDonald, the police chief. And like I have like all these relationships because we deal with like a lot of security issues. So at my synagogue, at the time, it was one of the reasons why I needed to book it and get the F out of Dodge, was because at my synagogue there was a shooting 2 days, every other day. So there was a shooting, and then 2 days later there was another shooting, and one of my friends was shot coming out of the shul, and a bullet just like went through his body. Thank God, Baruch Hashem, he's such a wonderful human being. He's still alive. Like the bullet just went through, didn't even it was like the most perfect siyata dishmaya you could possibly think to like not like if he was gonna get shot and he just like to survive it. I mean, Baruch Hashem, he survived because I love this person very much. But when like the ADL came, like when the police, there was a meeting of the leaders of the community in Pico Robertson about this, and like they didn't even. This was before Jim took over, but they sent a different captain, police chief Cho, and they came and they came to the synagogue, and it was my synagogue, and like the ADL has like their branch in LA, and the guy who runs it, his name is Jeff Abrams, and like these guys come up and barge up into Jewish Orthodox land and like do everything they can to like take the manhigut away from anybody. It was like my friend, like he came, I took him to the thing with his bloody shirt to meet with the police chief. So the victim was there with me in my shul, and the ADL, who's never been, this was a French Moroccan synagogue, bro. I don't even daven in like an Ashkenazi shul. I'm so tripped out. I have like my own minion in every single shul in Los Angeles, but this is like one of my main, like, this is like the Pinto shul. These are my Gansta de Mishpucha. You know what I'm saying? These are like I'm like the token Ashkenaz of Morocco. You know what I'm saying? Like it's such was impactful to me. And I stepped up, and it offended me because the ADL butts their way in, and then they're just like, we are the ones who you need to talk to, officer. We're the ones who will handle this for the Jewish community. And like they never even show, they're not even in the community on Yom Kippur. You know what I'm saying? They don't go to any of the Orthodox shuls, but they show up in the Orthodox any time that the Orthodox get hit. And there was this other time, Adas Torah. I did a full episode. You guys, I think it's like maybe episode 53 or something in there. Just go, if you're watching and you want to see this, this is wild. So they like had like a 350 person, like, they tried to storm Adas Torah, which is like a super yeshiva synagogue here in Los Angeles, because someone went around posting all these videos, flyers through like where all the Arabs and Muslims live in LA, saying that they were selling homes in Gaza during the war. But really, they were selling homes in like Rehovot and like Netanya. You know what I'm saying? Like like Netanya beach house properties to Jewish Orthodox people. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like, but they like literally flyered the entire Arab Muslim neighborhood saying that we were selling beachfront properties in Gaza, and they stormed the synagogue, and there was like 80 fights. And Cam Higby was there. He like ended up as a bloody. He got maced at this event, and other big influencers were also at this event. So after it was done, Mayor Karen Bass called me and asked me if I'd stand behind her and like go to this conference. And I didn't even want to go. And I remember my partner was like, you have to come, because she was going to be there. And I have this thing with Karen, and like we have like a long standing beef, but they wanted me there, and I was like on the phone with my mother, and I was just so busy, and she's like, I was like, the mayor she's like, my phone was blowing up, and I was like, the mayor wants me to come to this press conference, and and um and my mother's like, you're not going? And I was like, no, I'm busy. And she's like, it's the mayor, go. And like my mother made me, talk about mothers, right? Jewish mothers. My Jewish mother made me go. And like I was like straight up at work, and I was wearing an InfoWars hat, and I didn't know I was standing behind the freaking mayor. I just thought I was going to like a private meeting at the Simon Wiesenthal Center for, the Elders of Zion interface to the city after like the recent pogrom attack. You know what I'm saying? So I'm there, and I'm like literally positioned like right behind the mayor, right? And like everyone there is ADL. And I'm like, what the fuck, motherfuck, fuckity, fuck, McGee, fuck, this, that, and the other thing is this going on? I was so pissed. And then the media headline wrote, and I got on the CARE Wall of Fame this way, because the Council of American Islamic Relations, because CARE basically labeled me the neo-Nazi from InfoWars that was standing with Karen Bass. They didn't know shit. I'm like a Talmud Chacham. I got like freaking like Bibles and my sitter. I got a Tehillim from the Kotel. I got like the Arizal Shari Gilgulim. Like they didn't even know like that I'm like straight up like Jew maxing to the core. They just saw an InfoWars hat and they ran with it at the press conference. And it's like the fucking ADL's there. It was one of the Orthodox synagogues. It was Adas Torah. You know what I'm saying? And so when they talk about the ADL, yes, I identify here. You could look at one issue with two different lenses at the same time. The ADL has a $213 million budget that they use, and they start shit all over the world with this budget, and they get in fights that they shouldn't get in. Their budgets should be absolutely decreased. Like they're a hostile organization that wants to take over Judaism and wants to rule Judaism through the democratic power infrastructure. That being said, there are like a tremendous amount of families that have grown up supporting the ADL before it became such a Shvachta Yida, organization that had like this. They have like this nostalgia of keeping Jewish communities together. So how do you keep the community intact when it comes to the ADL while removing the opiate that manages it, Greenblatt, who's constantly fighting? Like, it's such a liberal organization. It like stands for trans Muslims more than it stands for Jews. And I think that a lot of liberal Jews, it's like one of the focal points when they say ADL needs to stand up, and the ADL's like, okay, we're going to dump $10 million into the SPLC. That's what ADL kind of does. So yeah, it's a big thing. It's a problem because it's political, but like the spiritual I try to separate the spiritual elements of Judaism and Torah from the political elements of Torah. And I also try to daven l'chavzchut even on the ADL. And I felt stupid for saying that the ADL hates Jews, changed my mind. I should have wrote a sign that says Jason Greenblatt hates Jews, changed my mind. That was my mistake on that episode. Everybody loved it. It was clickbait. It was like one of the things that made like white nationalists trust me was that I did that. I think like the first debate with Nick Fuentes probably happened because that video went out. And I had 2 debates with Fuentes. 3 was Stu Peters when Nazism was Stu Peter maxing. Now I think I was the first to call him Stupid Peters. And I remember on my first debate, my first debate, he deleted. I was freestyle rapping that debate. It was crazy. I was hoping I was gonna cipher with you, bro. I was like, let's get a cipher, But I was like, he deleted the first debate. The second debate, he came like on meth, strung out on drugs. It was like the biggest thing. And I ripped it because he deleted the first debate. So I had my team rip it. I had like foresight. Hashem gave me like total foresight, and he deleted it too. And then I released it, and it was like the end of the beginning of the end of Stu Peters. It was like such a massive takedown, and he has just tumbled to the ground ever since. Honest to God.
No, 100%. I mean, a lot of people did, so he's not unique in this regard. But a lot of people don't know this because I was in the crypto world, way, 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 way back. Not when it was just popping and trendy, but you probably saw when Stu Peters was pushing like his whole. I don't know if you did, but you saw when he was pushing his whole. He released like a crypto coin, and it was like,
Oh yeah,
we're gonna create our own coin where Jews can't control our money.
J
Meanwhile, like his
Proof.
own,
It was
yeah,
called J
exactly,
Proof.
J. Proof. Yeah, his whole audience, like they lost millions and millions of dollars. People
Yeah,
were commenting the wildest stuff, bro. Oh my gosh, I lost my this, I lost my like
yeah.
crazy stuff.
Yeah, that was when Lucas Gage and him broke up. And Lucas Gage was already like hot on my shit since then. And it was like, and now I look at the different stages of Lucas Gage. Back when I went on No More News with him like 3 or 4 years ago, and he was telling me how I'm one of the good Jews and there's good Jews and bad Jews, and then he went straight up Hitler maxing, and now he like became a life coach and he like thinks he's reformed himself. But like it's interesting the stages of him. But he was the one who really like poked. He took his gladius and he cut off Stu Peters' head with it, and he was the one who sunk J Proof.
Good, good,
Because
good.
rightfully so, they were stealing from it. But like, yeah, I guess give credit where credit's due. I saw his video that he posted. Do you watch Lucas Gage? Does he come up in your feed, or
So I spoke with him recently too. I only just got hip to him maybe a year ago. I
he's
saw him.
really trying hard?
No,
I
no.
I made a comment that I made a comment to him the other day, and he like still went after me. He likes it's
Look,
hard to let go of Awesome Jew. It's like the last of the temptations.
I get it. No, I get it. But it's he's a prime example of this whole concept, right? How can you be, whether you're Dan Bilzerian, whether you're Stu Peters, whether you're anybody, how can you claim to be a disciplined man? Whether you work out, whether you're sober, whether you're running marathon, whatever it is, I'm so in shape, I'm war ready. How could you claim to be such a and I'm not talking about him. He's a good example of what to be. I haven't seen him recently, but my point is, how could you claim to be all these things and then blame and then play victim and blame people? Like, it doesn't work. You can't be the alpha male and I'm so stoic. You
Yeah, the
can't be
alpha
stoic.
male and the victim.
How are you such a stoic alpha male, but you're also you're scapegoating Jew? Like, it makes those are mutually exclusive. You can't blame blacks for your problems, Muslims for your problems, Jew liberals, for anybody if
That's
you're
all
such a
they do.
stoic.
That it's the most Dan Bilzerian carpetbagging. Randy Fine is the most beta thing I've ever seen in my life. It is like the ultimate, like, just obsession. It's obsession.
It's weird.
It's
Like,
crazy because he lives in Nevada. Bilzerian lives in Nevada, but he's going after Randy Fine. It's just, and there's 6 other people in that race, and the way that it works is the Republicans fight each other. Dude, Bilzerian's not even gonna finish third, bro. It's gonna be
no, for
so
sure.
embarrassing for him.
It goes back to what you've said, what I've said. The internet is not real life, bro, and I think people get that twisted. Like, just because you get 100,000 likes from somewhere around the world, like, that does not mean, especially in Florida, like, you are not. It doesn't work like that. Like, most people don't even. It's not that they hate you; they don't know you, dog. Like,
Yeah, they don't know you at all. You're fake. That's why it's like, even though like I do what I do on X, like I still have like it's really like I'm just like straight up. You're not really famous, dude. You are just walking around a much bigger world that has no clue what's going on X. Like for real, like, And X is the most toxic place to be, and it's the hardest place to even break into a following, and like most people complain that they just can't get anywhere with X. So, but dude, it's true exactly what you say. The fame of X is like not even real fame. The fame of any social media is not even real fame, cuz I see people all the time with 250,000 followers on Instagram, and it's like, I don't have a clue who they are.
No, but even X, right? Now that I'm in a whole new world and a whole new algorithm, and like I said, that there's so many different echo chambers and different worlds to live in. Like even if you are popping on X, you're only popping in one corner of X. You feel what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Thank God I'm popping in Elon's favorite corner of X, which is the racist corner, because I really give him that. What's it like to be YouTube famous?
Dude, I've been doing YouTube for so long, so there's such
I
peaks
mean,
and valleys, and like
2.6 million subs is a lot
two,
of
not
shit.
two, 2.6,
I
a
said
couple
that
million. Not,
2.6.
I only heard six. I was like, maybe one day.
No, you
Yeah,
should have 6 million subs, bro.
yeah, no, God willing, one day. But dude, it's a blessing and a curse in a sense of like I've put so
But do they
much.
pay well?
Yeah, like
Mm,
when stuff is popping on YouTube, it's doing well, thank God. Look, my parnasa, my bread and butter is Spotify, Apple Music,
mm,
merchandise, shows, things like that. But YouTube does well, thank God. But I have so many different careers in YouTube, right? Like I used to be this prankster. Get like when that was popping, I dressed as an
mm.
Uber driver, and I would literally sign up an Uber, and I would rap for passengers. Many years ago, I rapped at the McDonald's, and I rapped the order. That went super viral. It wasn't always just like releasing music. It was more gimmicky. And before that, it was, or sorry, after that was like during COVID. I was more of a political conservative rapper. And
You've
now,
always been
Brooklyn,
a rapper, though.
I've always been a rapper since 12, 13 years old. I signed up on YouTube in 2009. So I've been on YouTube since before Google owned it. Started with 0 subscribers. And just as the trends, sort of changed, I changed with the trends. I've always been able to just, if gimmicks and pranks were popping on YouTube and social experiments is what people were calling it, I was putting rap into it somehow. If reacting to videos was reaction videos were popping, I was reacting to rap videos. So I always was engaging my audience, but not everyone follows you to your next stage of your career. So even though I have millions of subs, I don't always get millions of views on every video, obviously.
Some of
But
them hit really hard, though. I mean, some
yeah,
of your
no, for
videos
sure.
get like very good,
Yeah, no, some I have, bro.
traction.
I have a half a billion views on my YouTube channel. I have an absurd amount of videos. I've been doing it, like I said, since I'm a kid. I put a lot of my energy and my time into my YouTube. So on one hand, like I kind of regret putting so much effort and energy into something that eventually Google came along and owned and kind of switched up whenever they wanted to. But once again, thank God I have so many different forms of not just money, but creative outlets.
Yeah. Multi income streams is definitely, important for every man to be thinking about. What like I'm really getting back on YouTube for the first time, and like I'm slow cuz I'm like really a one man shop, and occasionally I got somebody around who wants to help out with the show. But like what is your advice for for me proving that I'm not shadow banned on YouTube? Cuz I had like this thing happen with Dinesh D'Souza on YouTube where he was on the show, and like I was like they like suppressed it. Like it had 18 views. You know what I'm saying? And like I always want to prove that like I'm not being suppressed and it's really me. Like what is a good strategy on YouTube? Like if I'm not suppressed and if I'm not in some sort of quasi algorithmic shadow ban, like what's a way to game the algorithm there and really launch yourself?
Yeah, look, if I had the answer fully for you, I feel like everyone pretends like they do, but
Mm-hmm.
it's different, right? Like some people's bread and butter on YouTube is live streaming every day on YouTube. Some people they upload every single day. I don't know how often you're uploading. For me, it's always quantity over quality, and sometimes I miss. Some things just won't get out of here. Obviously, they won't get hundreds of thousands of views or millions of views. But it's for me, it's just like I release a music video every month or every few weeks, and sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. But I think my answer to you is like I don't believe that everyone who thinks they're shadow banned, especially now, right? Like it's not COVID anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, politics is a different story, so I really can't answer the question fully. But I do
Mm-hmm.
believe that good content, like great content, will always be seen no matter what. Whether it might not be
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube, maybe it's only on Twitter, maybe it's only on Instagram, maybe it's only on Facebook. but there's really no answer other than just flooding every social media with content. You know what I mean?
I don't think my censorship comes from COVID stuff. I think those were points on my account. I think like if I am being censored or shout out, because I see myself get wiggled through on X all the time. Like X does the weirdest stuff with my account. One week I'm getting 2 million views on a post. The next week I'm getting like I can't break 1,000. You know, it's like the strangest stuff. Like the artificialness of X is very very severe. So I know that even X employs these type of things. On YouTube, I kn- I know that like my target is stopping anti-Semitism, and I'm very effective at it. I'm not even going out there to combat it. Like everybody's combating anti-Semitism. They're like going out there to see who they could say fuck you to. And I'm coming with like humor and Torah and wisdom, kind of like Rabbi Landau. Rabbi Landau is killing it in Anti Semitiville. People love him because he's teaching the wisdom of God to the nations, and people respond very well to that. And I think that's why my content is so successful. I just happen to like be platformed at, InfoWars banned video and all these other places that were like really central hubs of like this dark webby community. So like I've been there like the longest, and like in that retrospect, I feel like institutions that want to promote anti-Semitism for some sort of desired political effect, because I think there's two things that they plug: anti-Semitism and if a cop kills a black man. And anti-Semitism is manifest through Israel-Palestine conflicts the best. You know what I'm saying? And the algorithm, when they want people to get to the streets, when they want to shut down America with Michigas, they either go to one or those two options. And if a white cop is like with their body cams, they're trying really hard and there's no black people to kill, then it's like straight up anti Semitism. And that's when the ADL and people like that come in and they like gas the whole campaign up. And 40 billion views, folks. This is crazy.
Yeah, no, for
So
sure.
So I see that, and I feel like that's the only reason why I might have anything, but I don't want it because I think anti-Semitism's over. What's your take on like? I just feel like the whole space is over. Like, not to bring him up again, but Lucas Gage like totally defecting and like like they're like calling him a Jew. Like they're saying he's getting
No, for sure.
$7,000 checks.
Yeah,
It's over
I
for
got
the
to bounce in
Nazis.
a few minutes,
Go
but
ahead.
so anything you want to ask or talk about, let's bring that up. But I do like that point. I like what Lucas said when he finally started saying, getting off the Jew Kool Aid, whatever it was. But it was
The Jew
basically
aid.
like it goes to what I was telling you kind of earlier. Is like what is your plan? Is your plan to scream into the echo chamber like Hot Shalom? Like you're obviously like some people, and I'm not saying more people should do this, but like yes, some people go and they take it to the streets, and as you said, people will shoot up a synagogue. People will do the worst things you could think of. But if that's not happening, which Baruch Hashem, it's not happening as much as the internet makes it seem like it is. What's your plan to mobilize? What's your plan to stop these powers? What's your plan to do these things? So unless you're mobilizing, strategizing, organizing, then you're just yelling online. You know what I mean? So short of pogroms, like you said, short of actual violence, what is your plan? And if you don't have a plan, you're wasting your time.
Mm-hmm. So what's your plan? Like, what do you see? Like, maybe that's a great segue to wrap up this whole segment, with you is like, what do you see as like a strategy, a way forward so that America could like calm it down and like go back to like kind of like loving your neighbor? And
Look,
I was just,
it goes back to what I said. If I see the real world start to look like X, then we'll have a whole nother discussion. We will go back to the drawing board and we will come up with some incredible plans. And you and I will talk, and everyone will talk. But life is good, bro.
it is good.
Life is good. I'm good. My community's good. My family's good. Everyone I know is good. And even when we're not good, we're gonna be good the next day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And I'm
So
Israel Chai. We're going to live forever, bro.
so you know, I don't. The internet is not real life. That is the best way to sum up
Amen.
this whole podcast.
Amen.
And I'm worried about my kids. I'm worried about my family. I'm worried about the people I love.
Mm-hmm.
And if I have any room left over and any energy left over, we can go. We can figure out where to put that energy. But until the world, God forbid, until the world gets how X starts looking, I don't think we have anything to worry about or complain about.
I love that approach, man, because the truth is like tracht good, design good, you know, like
Amen.
think good and it will be good. And that
Amen.
really, to like Chabad Max out of here, that really is like, you know, a divine plan. And even the new age people are down with that. They're like, you know, the law of attraction and all this stuff. It's like thinking positive, the power of positive thinking. And it's truly if you see good, you will get more good. If you see negative, you will get more negative, you know? And so you're absolutely right. We are here, look for the good, you know, daven chapschut on everything and everybody and try to find the good in everything, you know, and like I think that's a really great approach. I feel like that really is the only way to deal with it. Dom was here last week, and his suggestion was you just got to tune out. You can't pay attention to it. You can't pay attention to Candace Owens. You can't pay attention. Like that's how you stop them is you turn off your screen and you stop watching them. You
Yep.
know, you don't beat them or send them to jail or whatever. I mean, maybe James Comey goes to jail, but we'll see. But, you know, let's Torah max this thing out of here. Like, give me a Torah. Tell the audience something. Where do you connect to Torah? Are you an esoteric Torah? Are you like a halacha Torah? Like, what's your vibe? What do you love? And carry us out of here with like one of your favorite Torahs or maybe a Baal Shem Tov story or something. Just give us a little nugget of wisdom that'll make Yossi Farrow want to put tefillin on you.
For sure. I probably already put the fill in that day, so I'm sorry, Yossi. But no,
I'll
it's
wait.
a. I
I would
texted
wait for
you.
Yossi. I'd be like, "Yo, come by like by 10 a.m. I like want to put tefillin on." Like,
Oh,
you know,
I'm done by 7th. My kid wakes up so early, bro. So unless Yossi's getting here
I want to be
6:30,
on Yossi's list. I want Yossi to put tefillin. Even though I put tefillin on every single day, I want Yossi Farrow to put tefillin on me at least once in my life.
so I
It
texted
would only be appropriate.
I texted you. But for those listening, Jewish or not Jewish, um, when people ask me, "Oh, when did you make tshuva? When did you make the tshuva? When did you?" And I texted you this, and I think this is good for not just Jews, but Jews especially. Is I'm making tshuva every day, bro. This is there's no pinpoint. I can tell you a time in my life where things changed and things turned around. But ultimately, bro, every day of my life, I'm just. This kind of goes back to what we mentioned earlier when it comes to being a disciplined man, a stoic man, a man of not just your household, but a man of your community. Every day of my life, I'm just trying to be a better man than I was the day before. Not just a better Jew, but a better man. And ultimately, yeah, man, it's no matter how far you fall away from Hashem, no matter how far you fall away from God, no matter how far detached you feel, no matter how many averas you've committed, there's always tomorrow. And I know it's kind of cliche or sounds a little bit cliche maybe, but that's how I live. That's how I've been living. And as far as the question you asked, I'm excited to learn, bro. It's not whether it's Kabbalah, whether it's straight up a halacha. I'm just excited to learn more and study more and be a better, not just a better yid, but a better person, bro. A better dad, a better husband, and that's really all I'm trying to do every day of my life.
I would be ashamed to not bring up that we are in the middle of Sfirata Omer right now, and pretty soon it's going to be Lag BaOmer, the celebration of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Are you doing anything for Lag BaOmer? And
Always, dog. Always, yeah,
do you learn
always.
Zohar? Are you like down with the Zohar?
For sure, for sure, and always, bro. As far as even the simplest of things, you know what I mean. It's a brilliant time to get together with your community, with your family, start grilling up, barbecuing, whatever it is. Some of that teva meat that you talked about,
Yeah.
and obviously, I'm not going to be eating that. I got a little weak Western white guy stomach, and I eat the organic pasture, the greatest of whatever cuts. But yeah, dude, I'm looking forward to that, and I already got the bracha from my rabbi that because I'm an influential figure, I can get a haircut on the Omer. I mean, I already got the blessing from my rabbi that I could, but I still don't. But honestly, I'm just a lazy guy. I don't get a haircut anyway, even when it's not the Omer. But yeah, man, I'm
I
looking
gotta
forward to
say, I
that.
love the Omer, even for like, when you let the hair grow, like in between a public appearance or whatever, you go feral. But I think that the best part of my Omer is like doing Sphera music and like not list because it like keeps you so in line. And then you hear like all the songs in your head are like drilled into your head because it's all a cappella. And like I just been like pumping Sphera music. I even put a few of them aside. I'll play one on the way out because I know you got to go, and I don't know how much time you have left. But like Sphera music is pumping, dude. It's just like pure Devekus with Hashem, and it is just like holy, holy, holy. I'm just like I love it, and then I hear like regular music, and like I feel like ugh. I'm like, it's like drinking Dasani water or something. It's just gross.
Yeah, no, no, I gotta bounce, but yes, I
Yalla.
definitely stopped consuming more secular music. I don't even listen to rap really anymore. I honestly don't listen to things with words. It's more, oh, my daughter's right here. She only listens to nigunim, and that's the things that we grew up putting for her ears. Thank God, and it's not the stuff I grew up on. So
Izakenu the Gadel Boremu v'nei banim Hachamim ulevanim Oy Avei Hashem v'yirei
that is
Elohim
Abba.
Anshe Emes Zera Kodesh Ba Hashem Dvekim. I love it, brother. Yo, this was dope. Please come again.
Thank you, man.
We'll
Yeah,
have
no, I'm
another
looking
one.
forward. I'm
We'll
looking
do
forward.
some mashups and we'll get more into the culture next time. This was good to Jew Max with you and really get to know you.
For sure. No, I'm looking forward to talking more about music, career, all that stuff.
Ve'amartim kol lechai, man. Have a great Lag BaOmer.
You too, brother. Peace.
Peace out, man. Yo, that was fun, man. I had a great time on that Jew Max to the core. We got our 90-minute segment in, and I'm going to play my favorite Sphera song just to like. Oh, there's a few that really have been hitting, but this one. This song hits, folks. L'chai olamim. L'chai olamim. Mihu ze ve'ezehu. Mihu ze ve'ezehu. Tekeli ve'amenu. Mitsuyemet, l'chai olamim. L'chai olamim. Mitsuyemet, l'chai olamim. Yo, we're going to hit it up next week. We got a lot of content coming out the gates. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's nice to have a little bit of Jewish talent up in here, talking about it. I didn't get to freestyle, but I would love to sing. I got Nissan Black supposedly coming on the show. Got some other rappers coming on the show. It'll be cool, but I mean, I rarely get Jews. Let's be honest. Let's be honest, folks. If all these conservative influencers aren't on the run in Italy from the SPLC investigation, maybe I'll have some of them on their show in the near future. Let's see what they got to say about Jew maxing. All right, guys. God bless Donald Trump, President Donald Trump. Keep him safe. Please, Hashem, keep him safe. With all their unwarranted attacks on our president, physical attacks, people ready to do the stupidest things. Like, wow. Anyways, please, Hashem, keep President Trump safe. Make an example out of James Comey, and make an example out of Alan Cole or Cole Allen, whatever his name is, and everybody else. Give them the book. Teach them why regicide, political assassination is not acceptable. Please, Hashem, save America. It was beautiful that anyone could have been president at the 250th year, but it was somebody who dressed American soldiers up as revolutionary soldiers of the revolution, the sons of liberty, and forced the king to walk through on the 250th year anniversary. What a submission. What a change of world. And that's where we are, folks. We're at the greatest time in American history. And we could choose to preserve it, and we could choose to latch on to an American future with our laws and our Constitution intact, solid, promoting freedom around the world, true freedom, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, true human rights. We can always expand on our human rights. We don't have to be addicted to the expansion of human rights either, the way that the left uses some sort of addiction to human rights as a way to encapsulate everybody into these really emotional campaigns. But yeah, we could really change the world. We have to get control over our country. We have to control America. And thank God I get shows like this, because a lot of it is controlling the media space and having a little bit of information that gets out there so that people can see it and possibly be changed or made whole in some way. And I'm really excited for everything that God has in store for humanity moving forward. Sometimes it's hard to have faith, and I'll be the first to admit it. But you're not judged on how hard you have faith or how much faith you give. Really, the judgment is if you have faith. And some of the most challenging times in our lives just require us to have faith. Sometimes the only way forward is to have faith. Sometimes it might look so bleak that only faith can get you through. The thought that there's going to be assistance from a higher source. So faith is a good thing. I love my life, God. Thank you for giving it to me. I love everything that happens in my life, and I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for the people in my life, the lessons and the blessings that they bring to my life. And I'm grateful for my show, and I'm grateful for the audience that tunes in to watch me every single week when I bring somebody on and get to include little snippets of wisdom of you from your Torah, from your heritage, and represent the Jewish people like this to the world. I love it. I truly love it. And I love you, Hashem. Thank you. And I hope that more influencers find you on here, on the internet, that more influencers truly find you, and that you're more powerful to them than their illusion of what they think you are. That we come to change the face of what spirituality means to the world. Kind of like in my example of Hanukkah and Christmas, that they're both trying to bring more light into the darkness. And if we can only just see each other in that light and just recognize the good. And he, Hi-Rez said it, just focus on the good. So if we could see the good in each other, that we, the consumer of content, chooses to see the good in everybody, despite being bombarded with a media onslaught of the most horrific, racist, vile, violent, chaotic content that is overly explicit sexual content. It's crazy what society's been bombarded with. And we've been front row and center for all of it. So I thank you, Hashem, and I thank you very much that you've brought me here, that I could talk to these people and share these thoughts with them about you. And I hope, God, that they all check out my book, Ad Shiloh, The Blueprint for the Final Awakening. It's just, there's a lot of concepts in this book that are really unique to understanding the age of the Mashiach, that a lot of people just don't, they're not tuned in on that level yet. They just don't know. They just don't know like what it's truly going to be. I met this girl and I was telling her about my chapter 14. And I just, one of the things that the Mashiach does is in chapter 14. And everybody knows the Mashiach builds the temple and all this stuff. That's like basic stuff. But there's other things like the undamming of the dams of Chizkiyahu Hamelech, Hezekiah, the 21st king of Judah, who built megalithic dams on the rivers inside of the earth. You want a reason to freak out against Jews, folks? I know where they are. And I reveal that in my chapter 14. If you want a real reason to freak out, the Jews, the 21st king of Judah, he dammed the rivers inside of the earth, the 4 rivers that come out of the Garden of Eden. And there's a reason why he did it, and there's a way to undam them so that the waters will flow again. But really, there's a world in there called Tehom. And Tehom, this is the world of infinite possibilities. This truly is a place where one can access all reality of the multiverse at any given time. This power was far too great to be entrusted to the ancients, to the ancient despots. And the writing was on the walls that Israel was going to be conquered. The prophets already said so. They already came and they already said so. So Chizkiyahu dammed the 4 rivers so that Sennacherib would not camp in Israel and make Israel the capital of his empire. He was that powerful. So they dammed these rivers and they uglified the land so that we would keep it and that it wouldn't be taken from us. Sennacherib then took the northern kingdom, and it was only until Nebuchadnezzar that would come and conquer the temple. Al Neharot Bavel Sham Yeshavnu. And God bless you, Hashem, for everything that you've done for us in our national story. I love this episode, and I love Jew maxing in public like this. I'm going to hop. I love you all. Thank you guys for listening, and I will see you next week or whenever I do my next show. It's going to be dope, and it's going to be, I want to get more on it. I really want to maybe even find a way to do a daily. I'd have to be like making much more money doing it. I mean, I'm barely monetized. I do this for fun. But it would have to be like something. But I would love to do a daily. It would be so great to do a daily and be able to comment on everything that happens in the news cycle with my own little twist of Hashem. Anyways, God bless you all. I love you. Shalom, and I'll see you soon. Peace.